Hello, and welcome to HearthBreakers, the podcast where hearts are broken and cards are played. On today's special, we have, as usual, an introduction where we will ask you what they're drinking, because that's how we roll. And then we'll go over to some patch changes with the newest patch announced, I think, a couple of hours ago. So we are awesome at picking up those new topics right away.
So fresh.
So fresh. And then we'll finish up with some card discussion where we will keep our prior segment and hopefully continue to teach you a bit about the cards and discuss them, see where they fit. So going over to the introduction, first of all, I'd like to mention, I think most of you already know, but this podcast format is meant so that you can jump through the topics. We've also, down in the description, we've written a few timers on times where we talk about certain topics, so you can jump, listen to what you want, come back, listen some other time as well, so you don't really have to listen to everything at once, which is kind of the point with the podcasts. So anyway, Michael, how's your life and what are you drinking?
Oh, my life is just fine. So I have been, I guess, trolling a little on the ladder with some Deathwing and the Resurrection Paladin and stuff. So that's been fun, I guess. And I also played in Mana Grind 20 and got top 4, I guess. That's cool. Didn't get any MLG points, but not like they matter anyways. So I am drinking Royal Export, and I'm hoping this beer is kind of good, I guess.
I've heard it's
think
okay,
it's
actually.
Good. I think it seems cheap in the name, so let's see. Yeah.
True. Well, I guess over to Henry, the magnificent Hawaii shirt dude.
Just keep it there. Henry the Magnificent. That's amazing.
Henry the magnificent.
So what have I been up to? I've been up to some laddering also. I've been playing a lot of Paladin aggro. It's pretty fun to play, I feel. And yeah, especially with the upcoming patch changes, I don't want to get too comfortable with the control decks that play these cards. So I'm just trolling around with some Bubble Paladin, Divine Shield based. It's pretty fun.
So what's your poison?
My poison?
Yeah, what are you drinking?
I don't know. Today it's this beer, the same as last week actually. The Czech beer, Pilsner Urquell, as it's called. It's really amazing. I'll just pop it right now. So yeah.
Oh, we could hear it pop. It was nice. All right. Well, Christopher, the last beautiful guy in the end.
Yeah.
So,
I'm really good. I was at the LAN event this weekend and won the HearthStone tournament. So brought back
look who's fancy.
Rocket keyboard. Yeah, it was nice. Really awesome. But yeah, I'm drinking. Skipped the multi-fruit juice and went to orange juice this week. Still good as always.
Cool. Well, myself, I've been playing a lot of tournament this last week. I've been playing the 4 IEM qualifiers, I think. I think they were all this last week. Do you remember, Henry? Was it all 4 last week?
Yeah, it was Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. I played in all of them except the first Sunday one as well, actually. So.
Yep. It was quite cool. Then I played the Ghost Cup as well. Didn't go quite as planned, but it was all right. I guess.
I think we did a good job thinking about that. The tournaments are 500 people plus, so it's.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. So, and anyway, I'm drinking a fine, lovely whiskey, same as last time, and I grew kind of fond of it. It tastes quite well to my. It's quite to my preferences at least. So anyway, remember, if you didn't get a drink yet, go get a drink. Pause the video, then come back, and we'll rush over to the patch changes and talk a bit about those. So on today's episode, prior to the episode, I think a few hours prior, there was a new patch announced with 3 significant changes to the meta and how certain cards will be played. So I guess the first card we're gonna take a look at, Michael, if you can get that up for us.
It's up.
Cool. Well, Tinkmaster Overspark, one of the most infamous cards, if you could say so, currently in the game. It's it had a change announced, and I don't know. I feel like it's pretty decent. Personally, I would have liked to see that card stay unchanged, kind of like the card, the way it felt in the meta. The changes, as you can see on the picture, it's gone from a 2/2 that you can choose to transform a minion to a 5/5 or a 1/1 at random. It's been changed to transform another random minion on the field to a 5/5 or 1/1, and it's gained 1/1 in stats. So, what do you guys think?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I've heard like every place I have seen anyone write about it, like on the forum where it was announced, everyone was like, "Goodbye, Tinkmaster, rest in peace." But I honestly find it to be quite decent still. Like, I compared to Mind Control Tech, which is 3/3 with a quite awesome effect. But I just feel like this is a 3/3 as well, 3 mana. But the effect seems more easy to pull off with huge benefit.
Well, it's still you could argue that it's still like random 5/5 or 1/1. So the risk before is still there. Now there's just even more risk.
Yeah, but my point is like at least if I was going to play it, I don't know if I will, but if I will, I'll be like keeping it in hand till I can use it really, really well. Like it's only 3 mana, so you can like if the opponent has a Ragnaros, you can probably spend like trade your minions off to remove all his other minions and then throw it to transform the Ragnaros only. Like I feel like if you play it properly, you can do quite well with it.
I see some problems with it though now in comparison to before, in the fact that the way you describe it is that you use it if you are kind of behind, if you have to get rid of something. But in the aggro decks, for example, it's often used to just remove a taunt or something so you can go for a game. And that is not, it's not necessary in the same way now, because that means you will obviously have some minions yourself in the first place. And it can also take your own minions, so that might be a problem.
Well, there's another aspect, like in the aggro decks, you would sometimes maybe, like in the Pala aggro at least, I've seen someone use it to transform a 1/1 into either a 1/1 or a 5/5, and that option is definitely still there. Like
it's still there.
If you have board control and you're the only one who has a minion, it will still do exactly the same in that specific scenario.
Yeah, but with more stats.
And it's even stronger. Yeah.
I think the main change is really that before you would play it later in the game, and now it's basically good at 3 mana. Because that is the situation where your opponent either have like one dude or you yourself have only one dude. So it's the same result as before with the momentum boost. Like if you have a 1/1 in Paladin, like Christopher.
But I understand your point about it being it's still potentially being the same or maybe in some cases even better. But the problem that I think is, would it be worth to have such a situational card in your deck compared to
it's probably
something more staple or something? I don't know. It just feels like even before it was kind of situational. Like in my aggro Warlock, I like to play it, and then sometimes I would just discard it because I couldn't use it in the matchup or something. But even now it's just like even more situational, and I just feel like it's like,
I think
I feel like it's the kind of card that now might be viable in certain decks, though, not in just all decks. The example mentioned before with the 1/1 Silverhand recruit from Paladin. Paladin has such great board clear, so you can very often actually use it on your own 1/1. I feel so. Maybe it's pretty. It has a place in Paladin, I feel.
Yeah, probably. I think the main thing about this card is it's buffed, so now you can kind of play it like a free just for free. Mm-hmm. But the one thing is, if your opponent has like a 2-drop or something, you don't really want to take the risk of giving them a 5/5, because even if it becomes a 1/1, it's like there's not a huge change. But if you make your opponent's Fairy Dragon to a 5/5, then you
just lose.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you kind of want to play it in the kind of mid game, and you want to have control. It's more of a comeback card than a keep control card, which it was before. So I think it's a nerf. I think it might be too situational now to play at all.
I think it might be pretty good in the Druid matchup actually, because of the innovates and stuff, but still a little bit unreliable. Like if they turn to
against Druid or
innovate,
with Druid?
Against Druid. If they turn to innovate a Yeti, you can use it, and then that way get that 50-50 chance of getting a scroll. And if you don't, then it's not the end of the world. But that's just a little thing. But that also, then they have to have innovate. Otherwise, it's not necessarily good in the matchup. So again, very situational.
Yep. So can we just take a round and say, do we like the change overall? Yes or no?
Well, I said in an earlier podcast that I want random cards to be bad or below average, and I think they moved this card from above average to below average. Like,
I kind of agree on that actually.
Yeah, I think the control aspect, because in many matchups, like the worst case scenario is like Onyxia or something, but in many matchups there's one key target that you want to transform, like Sylvanas or Ysera or something. But usually those cards are accompanied by one or two other things.
That's
very rare.
No, it's not. When you play Ysera, it's the only thing you can play.
Ysera, that's true. But Rack, for example, is often
you can play something next to it, I guess.
Yeah. I think it might be too random now. It has better stats, so I'm not sure I like the way they changed it really. But
I still feel it needed a change anyway, and I feel like it's getting out of the spotlight right now. The Tinkmaster, which I think is fine. It was a really frustrating card to play against, and it was too good simply before.
Yeah.
Cool.
So we'll see the place in the new metagame for it.
I guess let's talk about the next change.
I think we should talk about how this impacts the meta first.
Oh, didn't we already talk a bit about that?
Not really.
I think Henry mentioned how it would be better in like Druid matchups or something. And I think in general that it's just gonna be, I guess you can use it in against control like in control decks, but you can't really use it in aggro anymore.
Yeah, exactly. You cannot use it in aggro, which is a huge change. But I also think that since it's a general nerf, the deck that will be hit the most by this change is Druid. Because Druid has such a hard time getting rid of big dudes. And Tinkmaster was one of their key components to getting rid of these big dudes. So without the control, I'm not sure they want to play it, because Druid usually play this tempo game where they want to constantly be ahead and have a field. And in that situation, you can never rely on Tinkmaster Overspark. Tinkmaster only, like the new Tinkmaster, only works in a low card environment, like where there's few.
Where you have some sort of control of what it hits, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess.
So I think we might actually see the Reign of Druid disappear just totally on this one card.
Not just solely on this one card.
I guess a little bit.
But
the next one.
You mean they will lose to other late game cards because they lose their one really good out to Ysera because they can play big game hunts against Rack.
And aggro loses the easy way around the taunts, so we might actually see a entire shift in the meta towards a little more late game.
I disagree a lot. Like, it's the majority of rush decks doesn't play Tinkmaster. They play Silence instead. They play the bird.
I don't know. So it's kind of different. I would rather play Tinkmaster in Warlock aggro than I would play Silence, for example. But in Hunter,
yeah.
But there's the point that the owl is actually a beast as well. So
yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's
I don't
know. Some people play a random owl in the Warlock aggro deck, though. I've seen that. I know it's a popular tech. Just play a single owl in there.
Like
But
what?
maybe it's because they don't have Tink. I don't know.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that might-
What would you say is the strongest decks right now? Like, is that warrior control?
Like right now?
Yeah, right
probably. I think that is really strong.
Yeah.
Hand in hand with the aggro deck that Reynard made, the Su deck.
Yeah.
And the
Hunter
Warlock
Rush,
Giants is also still very strong, and the Hunter Rush. I feel that's like.
Like,
That's
how would
probably
they
the
be affected by
four.
this change?
Warrior Rush gets hurt a bit, I think, because they don't have any silences. It's the only silence they played, and they lose it. So I played it myself at the LAN and on the ladder as well, and I
Well,
was
not all.
really sad about playing against Tyrion and against Cairn because I don't have a good out to them, and Tinkmaster solved that.
I feel that the Warlock Giants, they'll benefit from it being removed in some way.
Yeah, I guess.
Because, you can still play big game hunter. That's true, but you can't use that on Twilight Drakes, for example. So you have silence still for Twilight Drakes for sure, but Tinkmaster was a great out for example, a 4/10 Twilight Drake or something.
As you mentioned, I actually think Big Game Hunter will see a lot more play.
Yeah.
Because,
so it has the same uses. It just doesn't.
Oh, not
No,
exactly.
It doesn't.
Like
It can have. I mean,
The problem is if Big Game Hunter becomes a huge anti-meta card, people will just stop playing Rack and will play Ysera everywhere instead. And like if Big Game gets too much play, the Ragnaros will just lose play and Big Game Hunter will lose play again, and then it will be like this balance of people fitting those two cards in and out.
Yeah.
That's my theory at least.
That's true. Do you think Mage will benefit a lot by this, or will they still be meh?
why would Mage benefit?
I don't think it will impact them too much, no.
To be honest, I don't think that Tinkmaster will, like, removing Tinkmaster. I don't think that will affect the meta all too much. I think it was still
a bit, as Michael said.
Yeah, Druid is
probably
I
the
think
most
yeah,
impactful thing.
exactly.
but not all Druid, like not even all Druid decks actually played Tinkmaster.
But the vast majority did, right?
Definitely.
I like from the decks I've seen on various like fight night, not fight nights, but like deck fights and such. I don't know. I just don't remember Tinkmaster. Like Druids already have silences and shit. Like they have 2 silences that they can use to get rid of stuff like Cairn.
But
And they play Tinkmaster. I mean, they play Big Game Hunter.
Yeah, they do.
I've seen some people play Big Game Hunter over Tinkmaster even in Druid.
But I've seen both, so.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think in Druid you might be right. With since they have the silence, they can get by just throwing in a gunman or whatever he's called.
Yeah, I think Druids will simply just substitute it with a Big Game Hunter, and it will do pretty much the same because it's just a okay card in Druid in general.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, but they will just lose out to people who take against don't play any cards with over 8. The Big Game Hunters are just.
But you can just play Big Game Hunter anyway, like play it out on the field.
True.
It's a good card.
But we have, it just dies it dies to 1-drops with 2 attack, which is kind of sad.
I don't think it matters really.
As does all other 3-drops.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, lol. What?
No.
They all have 3 HP or less, most of them.
And 1-drops have 3 attack. Since when?
No, I thought you said 2-drops.
Yeah,
a lot of hero abilities has pinks, so still. But I feel like maybe Mage and Shaman might see a little more play now, since they have the Tinkmaster spell cards, if you so may say, the Hex and the Polymorph.
Yeah, I guess.
So maybe they'll be a little more attractive. So because they can actually get rid of big dudes better. Now, maybe, but I don't know. We can't predict anything. It's just coming out with ideas here.
You can try, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
So in general, I think I like the change because the card got worse, and I didn't like the card before. So.
Yeah, it was too good.
Yeah, so biased. Lol, you don't have it.
Of course I'm biased.
Oh, yeah. I must agree. I like the change because Tinkmaster was too played. It was so good that everyone played it. Basically,
I think it was good for the meta. That's just my opinion.
I think it was too random. I mean, losing a game single-handedly by randomness like that.
But the thing about Tinkmaster is that you didn't use it for the red. Like you didn't play it. Like yes, you could play it like win or lose situations, but usually it would be like where both effects would be good for you, like better
on a rack.
like on a rag or on a giant or something. Like it, you would use it where you would basically use it as a neutral spell, and there aren't really any neutral spells currently.
If you used it on a Yeti, you were really messed up already.
Yeah.
The thing is,
yeah, but sometimes that's the only thing you can do. Like if it's innovated out or something, and you think it to a 1/1 squirrel, well, good game, you just won almost. Like,
I would like to throw a counter argument just for the sake of discussion. Towards it is balanced because it can destroy big dudes, for sure. One, there's still a huge difference between changing a Ragnaros into a 5/5 or a 1/1. Like
not always.
Usually, there's a huge momentum swing. Like, how often do you get rid of a 5/5 for free? You have to sacrifice something.
Yes, but I mean that's just a card. Like it's not OP. Like it's just. I think it was at a pretty good place. Like maybe it could be like they discussed to change it to 2/2 or 4/4. But overall, I felt like it was a pretty balanced card that was good for the game because it gave some decks options to get rid of stuff that they couldn't get rid of anyway. Like it gave druids easy outs to big dudes.
Exactly. It gave some decks that needed this ability, but overall, I think the card was too powerful. Even if you made it to 2/2 or 4/4, even like a 3/3 every time, I would.
The card, yes, it was a good card, but like not all cards are equally good. Like there has to be some cards that are better than others. Like it's not necessarily a bad thing that a card is really good.
Oh,
I think
I agree, and
what I don't like about it also is just the randomness. I really don't like randomness too much.
Me neither.
I'm really not a fan. Just losing on random dice rolls is so bad for competitive gaming, I feel.
It's the worst feeling in the game.
Like a game of StarCraft and you make a pair of circlings. Maybe you can get one, maybe you can get 5. What is that? I mean,
I think it's not really, I'm not sure. They are two different games, so I think they are not comparable.
No, RNG.
But I guess we are on different boats here, so the viewers got our arguments, so they can decide for themselves.
Let's go for the. I can wait and fish all day.
Yeah.
I can wait and fish all day.
Michael, are you happy?
Yes, I'm happy. No, I'm not happy enough.
So basically, they actually decided to change this card for the one option that I actually best liked, which was pretty nice. Like if you remember a few podcasts ago,
you mentioned it.
I mentioned that the ones like community suggestion that I liked the most was actually just simply changing it so that you draw at the start of your turn instead of at the end, which would give you, I guess, half a turn.
One turn actually.
One turn later, a card. Possibly, like it would give opponents the possibility to actually do something before it actually gains you advantage. Like they can get rid of it if they want to soulfire it for a 2-for-1. They can do that without having to risk that you already drew a card.
Yeah, because that's the problem with Nat Pagle. A lot of people they said, "Oh, it drew this first round. Now it has already paid for itself."
Yeah.
But if it didn't pay for itself in the first draw, then it's just there. I don't know.
Then it's just 1-for-1.
Then it's not necessarily good. But now it doesn't draw no matter what in the first round. So.
Yeah. Personally, I feel like this change is just perfect for the card. It's just like it's still a playable card. It's not too bad. Like you can still play it in some sick late game decks that just focus on late games and taunts and stuff. And it's not insanely broken if you get it out turn 1 with the coin. Like you can come back from it, even if especially if it doesn't draw on your first draw, then you have basically 2 turns to deal with it.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like a -1 already. So it will be seen a lot less, I think, and it will be at the right place, feel, with this change. What do you guys feel?
I think I don't like that it is still random because the simple fact is that this is the card that has the least interaction with its randomness. Like Tinkmaster, you had some kind of risk versus reward. The same with Mad Bomber and Ragnaros and all these other cards. But Nat Pagle, there's nothing to think about. You play him if you can play him. But yeah, so in that aspect, I don't like the change. But if you look at it only for like balancing, I like the balance change because before it was too strong, and I think it might be balanced now in terms of just its strength. And basically, it's just Nat Pagle that will always be one turn late.
I guess.
You got one more turn. One less time of 50-50. Yeah.
So, any comments on?
Yeah, I guess. Like, I think the Nat Pagle might still be a bit over average. I'm not sure, but it definitely before going to Michael's analogy, before it was way above average, and now it's pretty close to average, I think. And in that aspect, I like the change, despite it still being random.
I think this is the only way you could change a card without actually making it useless.
Yeah,
yeah, I guess if you don't count changing the card entirely.
Yeah, but
yeah.
Let it keep the same effect, but not making it useless.
Yeah,
I
think. Yeah,
it would be cool if he always caught some kind of fish tokens that gave your minions +1/+1.
Yeah, but that's changing the effect.
Completely changing the card.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that could be cool.
That was one of the other ideas, but
yeah,
it was either this or a complete rework, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess I can live with it. I don't agree, but I can live with it.
Much wow.
So much.
Well, I'm not gonna complain as much as I did before because now you got an entire turn more to do something.
No matter what,
it.
like and it's not even for sure that it draws the next one. Also.
The biggest problem was just his strength before, and now his biggest problem is, I guess, his randomness. So.
Cool. Well, how will this affect the meta? Personally, I feel like it will do pretty much nothing to the meta. Like every deck that played Nat Pagle did not need Nat Pagle. It was just like an additional win condition.
Yeah, it was just
so you can just replace it with anything else, and it will still be fine. Like it was just a cheese card, basically. I feel like you played it because it was so good, and now people will not play it unless it's super late game deck. I feel like.
I feel like it might have hurt all the decks that played it. Basically.
Well, you can't really say that. I feel.
Is there any deck that doesn't play
because the only decks that didn't play it was Rush, and Rush was, in my opinion, too big of a factor in the meta before, and I feel that it will become an even bigger factor now.
But it wasn't good against Rush.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Nat Pagle is not a good card to put down against Rush.
You don't want to play him at all, actually, most of the time, if you get him against Rush, unless you are fully taunted up and all.
Unless you can give him taunt or something, then I would definitely not play him against Rush. Like, even if he draws a card, it's just like, well, you do literally nothing to the board, and now they have 4 minions out.
If you get him on turn 2, he might not be too bad to throw out against Rush.
Not if they start and they put, like, I don't know.
He will get like
it depends a lot on your hand. If you have
just extra outs to Rush.
If you have the option to either use your hero power to kill one of their guys,
kill definitely,
or play Nat Pagle, I would kill one of their guys.
Yeah, definitely. If you're playing mage or I don't know,
druid or rogue or
I agree with that. I think I agree that this change won't do too much. Like Dortha already mentioned how it was basically a staple. It was so strong that every deck that could get away with playing it played it. And now it might not be a staple, but it's not like
it's not bad.
You can still play it. So if you feel your deck needs some kinda like if you have enough Fire Priest, I guess you could still play it.
I could see it being played in super late. Like if you are in a tournament and you want to make a deck that is really good against late game decks, like you want to make a late game deck against late game decks, then I would play this card.
Yeah.
I can see it being played in Warrior as well because they have the 2/2 that deals 1 damage and gives it 2 attack, and that combo is really strong still.
It's pretty okay.
Again, I feel it depends on the matchup. I feel like that Pagle now is a good tournament card in the sense that you can side deck him.
Yeah, like you can. I guess you can side him in against the late game as well, which would be quite good. But it's like I said, I would never play this card against Rush. Like, yes, it is like yes, the Rush decks didn't play it, but you usually didn't want to play it against the Rush decks anyway. So, like if you put in like I don't know Wild Pyromancer instead of Nat Pagle, you would do better against Rush decks.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay, I definitely get the point that like your point is people played Nat Pagle because it was necessary because the other late game decks had Nat Pagle, and you wouldn't be able to keep up with them without it, or like your deck wouldn't be as good. Yeah, I guess you're right.
Cool. Well, any more we need to cover with the I can wait and fish all day?
I can wait and fish all day.
I guess.
Well, we might see Ghost Cup without a ban list, I guess.
Oh,
Might be.
amazing!
I don't think that Pagle is ban worthy now. That's my
Exactly. It was people complained about randomness, and I still do. But the main problem was basically just his strength, and he was just wrong. So that was
Cool.
the main problem.
Well, let's go to the last change. That was actually not a card change, but a system change, if you could say so.
Yeah.
So, Michael, do you want to take a shot at explaining what's the haps?
What's the haps? Well,
and explain your amazing picture.
I hope people will understand it after I explain it. So basically, Blizzard said that they would change the ladder system so if you were high on the high rank last season before the reset, you wouldn't fall all the way down to 25. You would then get to some kind of middle ground, so the new players wouldn't have to play against the best players right off the bat each reset. So you would like be queued up against the same level, I guess is the philosophy here. And the example they gave was that legendary rank 1 and 2 after the ladder reset they would go to rank 17, so that is why I have this picture here where they are saved from all the chickens.
One note, I'd like to note that in the blue post it says that players that in any given season. Oh yeah, never mind, I'm stupid. Yeah, just continue.
I don't know. I actually took note of that as well.
Yeah, but
it might
the next.
It might just be the assumption that if you reach legendary one time, you're probably better, good enough to go at 17. Anyways, so like you're too good to destroy all the low-level players at 25.
Yeah, this is a change that benefits the low-level players. I feel if you're going to legendary, then the first, I don't know how many ranks, 8 ranks to 17, it's not a big deal anyway, so you just crush.
Yeah, I usually don't take that long to climb.
They're very fast, 17. We talked about
around 10 or so, it slows down a little bit, but...
Yeah, I think we discussed this whole ladder reset problem last podcast where we agreed that it was too short. And this is, I guess, Blizzard's kind of fix, but I don't like it.
I don't like it either. I think this combined with giving 1 month extra would be nice. Then you could reset every 2 months. I think that's actually perfect. I think 3 months might be too much, and I think 1 month is too little.
Might be.
So, like, this plus 2 months would be nice, I think. But, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely, I like the...
But it's better than nothing.
I like the system. Yeah, like, it exists in really many games. Like, for instance, in LoL, if you, when they reset, you still keep some of your MMR matchmaking rating.
Reset, yeah.
It doesn't hard reset, it's soft resets, and that's what they implement here, and I like it. It's as it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Now next step is tournament mode. Thank you.
Yeah. I think the only thing that is different between this and the LoL's way of doing soft reset, for example, is this the gap is too high or is too far. Like 1 to 17, there's no difference between 25 and 17. If
True.
legendary players were maybe, I don't know, stuff reset to 10 or something, then yeah, we could talk about this change. But as of now, it doesn't benefit high level players at all. It only benefits low level players because they don't have to queue up against the high level players.
Yeah.
Um,
Rank 17 is still trash, so but
it's
it's
not
not very good.
it's not necessarily trash, but the thing is, it's so fast because those 5 from 25 to 20, you cannot lose stars and you get double stars from win streaks. Then there's only 3 left, and those are super fast as well. So
I guess there's like there's just a huge difference between the two ladders from League of Legends
Yeah.
to HearthStone, because
course.
the reset in HearthStone is every month, and in League, I don't know, it's like once a year or something,
yeah,
and it takes like way longer time to climb. And
yeah, exactly.
League.
It's not comparable in that sense. But yeah, another thing I actually I noticed at the LAN event was the fact that you cannot really describe how good you are by rank. Like if someone asked you, like, "Hey, you just won. What rank are you?" and you're like, "Hey, I'm a 15, I guess," because the reset just occurred. Then it's like it's not descriptive at all. You cannot describe how good you are by doing like by the ladder because it resets way too often. And I think this doesn't help because like you still reset every month. Yeah, I guess it's just
it's
me,
a step in the wrong.
yeah,
Your point is it's a step in the right direction. It's just not enough.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree with that, definitely.
Yeah.
So
So
I guess that's it for.
Yeah.
Did you explain the awesome picture?
Yeah. I guess the awesome picture is basically Blizzard is the taekwondo guy who kicks you off your high spot, I guess.
Pedestal.
Yeah. With the ladder reset, they kick you off, and then the 17 guys, they will catch you because you will not fall down to the fiery hells of the angry chicken. So I hope someone found it funny.
I
I
did.
used
That's the
20
most
minutes
important
on.
thing.
Didn't we? I used some time on it, I guess.
So yeah. Anyway, I guess we're moving on to the next segment.
Yeah.
The card discussion, where we will
no cards were destroyed in this.
We will discuss class-specific one-drops and go through, I guess, pretty swiftly this time, and not talk 5 minutes about a terrible card of Novi played.
Blood Sailor Raider.
Blood Sailor Raider.
We are here to inform the lesser.
By the way, we should take the
educated
0
people.
drops also, right? Just so we agree.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, good. So, okay. Just say when you're ready, Michael.
Yeah, I'm loading up my collection here. A huge collection.
Huge squad.
Here. I guess 0 here. There we go.
So where were we starting?
We're starting at Druid.
Druid 0.
Yeah, Druid 0. Innovate.
Crafting mode. Let me just find it. There you go. Right, so Innovate. It seems like a pretty bad card. What do you guys think?
Well,
So, Innovate, I think it's like the, if not like very close to the best card in the game.
I think it needs explanation actually, because it seems if you've played card games, this seems like a straight up 0-1 card. Like you just lose card advantage, right? The thing about this card in this game is that momentum matters more
A lot.
than in many other card games. Like field presence matters a lot compared to other games where card advantage maybe is more important. And by throwing down a card that is actually too strong in a turn where you're not supposed to throw it down, can set you really far ahead and can be a real headache for the opponent to deal with, and they will eventually have to spend more than the 2 cards you invested in it to deal with it.
The cards are balanced in such a way that that you're not supposed to, for example, let's say at turn 2 you innovate out a Yeti or something. The cards are not designed to get rid of a Yeti in turn 2, so you have to use more resources most of the times, unless you're really lucky and, I don't know, have a soul
and have
fire.
a Tinkmaster and make 1/1.
Yeah, something like that. But that's pretty much it about Innovate, right? It's just pretty damn strong for keeping out the momentum. And
like I could not see any druid deck that would not play this card ever. Like it's just too good.
Yeah, it's too good. And yeah, another reason with the whole like you already kind of mentioned, with the tempo, you gain the advantage back because of the whole health system where your minions can kill multiple dudes without dying.
Yeah.
So they will trade well. But yeah, Innovate is the. I think we agree that this is the strongest card in the game right now.
Yeah, for sure.
He really does not agree.
I'm not sure I agree on it being the strongest card. I think that's a bit dangerous to throw out there. Especially post-ban of Pagle.
Oh yeah, true.
Looking at you. But yeah, I don't know. I agree, it's definitely a strong card. I won't neglect that.
Yeah. So, the next one.
Moonfire.
I
guess...
Let's go. But, yeah, I guess I can take my my point back that it's basically you lose card advantage, and opposed to Innovate, you don't really get momentum. 1 damage will rarely swing anything in your favor, and thus it is not good.
Yeah. Basically, nothing dies to this. And if you play Druid can kill everything that this kills with the hero power. So the decks you want to play this in is decks that have synergy with spells, and that is Gadget-san, and maybe Violet Teacher if you play like want to summon tokens to buffer it later, and Malygos, I guess.
Yeah, I've seen Malygos decks, but I think we agree that it's only on like the fun side. I don't know. Yeah. I don't see it being competitively viable unless you play the token druid. I've seen that in there also, but it's not a stable in there. It's just different variations of it. So.
Yeah, it doesn't give enough momentum like Innovate compared to the loss of a card in hand. You can rarely kill anything. We talked last week. We mentioned how everything died to hero powers, therefore you did not play it. So everything that this can kill, you will most of the time not play. So that's Moonfire, I guess.
Yeah, cool. I guess next card up is Claw.
Yeah.
I think Claw is good. It makes you trade for most 2-drops, I guess.
Yeah, I like the card.
And it gives you 2 health.
It can save you in a pitch, like it gives you the 2 health additional, and it just has a lot of uses.
I think it rarely gives you more health than the damage you take from killing something.
Oh, no, I mean, like if you're really messed up and Hunter will kill you next turn with his auto attack, you can just use it and hit him in face, and you will have gained the 2 health to survive, and that might win the game. But that's not like on 30 health, it doesn't matter, the 2 armor, because you just trade them away.
But most of the time you can get your hero attack with 3, because you can kind of use your hero ability as well. So
I think it's a slightly weaker Arcane Shot.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But the difference between Claw and Arcane Shot is the fact that in Druid you can boost it with 1 extra damage, and you cannot do that in Hunter with the hero power, which is a huge difference. Like killing something with 3 HP like Harvest Golem is possible with Claw, and it's not possible with Arcane Shot.
And you can use it with Savagery, which we'll talk about later. So.
Yeah. So I think it's an okay card. The main difference between this and Moonfire is basically like this can kill stuff. Because a lot
Yeah.
of guys actually have 2 health. So. Yeah.
Cool. Well, moving on to Naturalize, I guess. the odd card.
The odd card.
Yeah.
Indeed.
It can be good, but it comes really costly. There, like in most scenarios, it's bad. But if you're playing a really late game deck and you are more concerned about the opponent's big threats, if you know like the enemy deck has 4 big threats and you just need to get rid of them, it's basically irrelevant how many cards he has. But if you can just shoot those 4 big threats, there's no problem using it. Like often it will be so late game that he will be afraid of drawing all his cards in his deck, and in that sense it's just even better. Like yeah, in some specific situations it can be okay, I think.
Cool.
I think the strength of this card is we mentioned earlier how Druid have a hard time dealing with big dudes. So that is the strength of this card. It's a low mana drop from you. Can usually play it with something else. I think the weakness of this card is in the late game is usually the time of the game where cards in hand actually matters. Like where your hand advantage matters. Like compared to Innovate is used in the early game where card advantage is not as important as field pressure. Where in the late game, overall advantage is usually more important because you play multiple things at once. So if you kill something big, they will usually just draw into 2 new big things. And I think that is why we don't see Naturalize too often.
I feel where Naturalize really shines is in the handlock matchup, actually. I feel like it's side deck material for that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because,
true.
because
Shooting
they
the
can,
giants.
yeah, because most of the times you can actually make them lose the draws, or at least one of the draws of the Naturalize. And they get out the giants so early sometimes that the whole thing that cards matters, as Michael just said, it doesn't matter too much. And because they still have 8 cards in hand, if they have 8 or 10, does it really matter? I don't know. You just need to get rid of all the 4 giants, and you're pretty much well set against that deck.
Yeah, exactly. It's good against those high card advantage situations, but I think most of the time in the late game, you are gonna see people have 3 or 2 cards in hand, and this card will just double their options.
Yep. Well, I guess it's a risky card to play.
Yeah,
to
it's
say the least.
It can swing momentum, but it can also hurt a lot.
Well, moving on to the last card of Druid, it's Savagery.
Well, it's trash. I think we should just, I don't know. Should we explain very briefly why it's trash?
Yes, please do.
Okay. So, you need something else to combo it with in order to be effective. Unless you just want to use it with your hero power to do 1 damage, which is, I don't know. Compared to a Moonfire, just pure bullshit. It's a 1 mana Moonfire most of the time. Unless you, I don't know. It's not very good. I guess you could use it with in a combination of Savage Roar and double Bite or something. No, not even.
The problem is it's a combo card that is not really good.
It's not good in Druid.
What is the best? The best situation is 3 damage with the claw, I guess.
Unless you play the Bite.
The best situation is that you use it with Savage Roar in some silly finisher to use Savagery to remove the taunter that's in your way. But it's
just always a bad Moonfire that cannot hit their face. You need to have extra mana to boost your hero, and you need to draw claw. It's just, it's so bad. Yeah.
It's bad.
It's
Next
so
card.
bad.
Yeah. Well, that's it for Druid.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Hunter. So we got the fabulous Hunter's Mark, which is actually a card we've been seeing a bit lately.
Yeah, it's pretty strong. It's like equality for 1 target, but costs 0 mana, and it has so good synergy with Unleash. Because you can kill everything with 2 mana, like 2 cards and 2 mana, and most situations you will have a lot of hounds as well at the same time. It's just a really solid card for getting rid of whatever you like to get rid
Big
of.
dudes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's like along with Deadly Shot, it's the one out to remove big stuffs in Druid. No, with Hunter.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, going over to Arcane Shot, which has actually also been seeing a lot of play in Hunter Rush.
Yeah, it's just strong. You can use it either to remove that little pesky taunt that or something, I don't know, or just shoot him in the face, which is the most common way to go about it.
I think we have spoken previously about how Hunter Rush is mathematical, and this card deals 2 damage for 1 mana. That's good, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
I guess that's it for it. It's very simple, the Hunter gameplay, so just do some damage, and Arcane Shot is good damage for the buck, so you play it.
Yeah, I'd say that's it, basically.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's good. End of story.
Yeah. So the Bestial Wrath, well,
Bestial Wrath.
that is
The opposite of Arcane Shot.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, it has some fancy features. Like, it's a 1-for-1, but it requires you to have a beast.
I feel it's
Yeah.
very much comparable to the Hand of Protection in Paladin, almost. Except this only works on beasts. I know you get the +2 damage, but
It's often not so important.
and it's only
Yeah,
one
I don't
turn,
know.
and yeah, and it's only beasts, which is that's the worst part. If it was any minion, then maybe you could play it. I feel, but
Close
Yeah.
good, I
it's
think,
it's
but-
situational Arcane Shot, but in some situations, I guess you can boost something big and you can kill it. Something.
yeah, you can trade with this one, but you can do that with Arcane Shot as well. I feel. I don't know.
Put it on King Crush and kill Vicereal or something. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Not
not
too
even.
good, but no, but kill Rack, but whatever. Yeah, like not
Yeah.
too good because it's situational.
And
Yeah.
should we say more about Bestial Wrath? It's not very.
No.
I don't
It's
like
an
it.
epic, and I don't know. It's not something you should craft if you want to make an epic ever.
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
Okay,
It's a
going
trap.
over to Flare, which has seen a lot of play in Reynad's Hunter deck, but not in all Hunter decks.
Flare is very unique in the way that it's the only spell in the entire game that can remove traps.
Yeah, true.
So that's interesting, and it removes stealth as well, which that's I think
Rarely
once I used it where it actually mattered something. But apart from that, it's just it draws you a new card. So yeah,
I think Flare is one of those cards that right now it's okay. It's really good in the mirror, but in the future, when more secrets are revealed, this card might become insanely OP.
Yeah.
This might be the best card in the game in like 2 or 3 sets later down the line.
unless they make some other trap
Yeah.
removal cards. So
Like right now it replaces itself, but it costs 1 mana. And then once in a while you get really good value, but most of the time it replaces itself for 1 mana, so it's not too good in the Hunter Rush. Compared to
it's
like
good
tracking.
in the it's very good in the Hunter mirror match. So
Yeah.
Like
So-
I'm playing the one-off in my Hunter Rush simply because, like, it's comparable to tracking, but maybe not just as good as tracking for drawing. But on the other hand, you just win straight up if you pull it off on explosive trap, the mirror match, and there seemed to be a lot of
now we just
Hunter Rush in the deck at the time I made the deck. So in that sense, it seemed really good to me.
now we just call them traps like 8 times in a row, but of course it's secrets.
Yeah.
Because the Yu-Gi-Oh! version.
Yeah, true.
But I think this card is most interesting if you compare it to the next card, really.
Yeah, tracking, that is.
And I think the interesting thing about tracking is how it dives through your deck. And the biggest reason you play this in like in Hunter Rush is basically to get to Leroy Jenkins. Because Leroy Jenkins is so
Or
much
on
damage.
leash, I guess. Yeah, one of those two.
And
Yeah, you always want to get you on these.
yeah, exactly. And even if you don't see him in the free choices, everything is sent to the discard pile or graveyard or whatever the name is in this game. It disappears from your deck. So you often see hunters have like, even if it's very early game based, if they use 2 trackings, they will very early be at like 10 cards left in the deck or something. So the chances of them not drawing Pagle is very slim. Double tracking.
Especially with the boss art combo, they can speed through the deck pretty fast,
Yeah,
but they win early
exactly.
anyway. So.
Exactly. So that is the power of tracking, and tracking is usually better than flare because you can dive through your decks. But in the rare situation where you're in the mirror, flare will just win you the game.
Yeah. So that's it about tracking, right?
Yep.
So Timberwolf, I feel, can be a win condition in itself. If you, I've lost so many times to if they play a boss art and they get maybe 3 hounds from Unleash the Hounds, then they draw a couple of Timberwolf and you're dead. It's just something like that. I don't know.
Personally, I didn't like Timberwolf at first in the Hunter deck because I felt like it was too situational. But if you play like Reynad plays with 2 flares and 2 trackings and 2 Timberwolves and shit, then you can pretty quickly go through your deck and search out the 3-card combo.
Yeah.
So it's called. So I guess
turn 7 you play.
Yeah, Leroy Unleashed Timberwolf, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's really strong.
It's a lot of like it doubles all the damage from the Unleash.
Yeah. Yeah, that combo's just sick. Like it's the best burst currently in the game.
Yeah, exactly. So it's one of those you sit on it for as long as you can until you have the necessary combo piece. So it's good and situational, but good.
cool. Well,
that was Hunter.
Yeah, that's Hunter.
Actually,
so Mage. Okay, Mage.
Mage hasn't really many.
Really, it does have a lot, but they're all good, I feel. But
yeah, I guess they're all used.
Yeah.
Should say. So starting with Arcane Missiles.
Yeah.
Combo's great with Mana Worm. Yeah. And together with the coin, you can get a free Mana Worm in turn 1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Arcane Missiles is basically Frostbolt that you do not have control over. Or not, I guess.
So basically, it's not Frostbolt.
Yeah,
basically.
It costs 1 mana less, but it deals the same amount of damage.
What is very important about the fact that it costs 1 mana is the fact that you can play Malygos in turn 10 and Arcane Missiles.
For 8 damage, yeah. That's...
Instant value. Right
yeah, you have. That's an Avenging Wrath.
I tried.
Not
that good.
Yeah.
Apart from that, it's just really strong, but it's also random. But most of the time, you can get rid of leper gnomes and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This card, the reason this card is kind of useful is because it is Mage. Like on turn 3, you can play this and you can combo it with like a hero power to have a little more control after you see where the 3 missiles land. You can finish off whatever is left. So I think this card would be significantly worse in like Priest or Hunter or something like that. And I think it's a good card, and I think it's well designed to be in Mage.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it just kind of all spilled up about the really good synergy in Mage. I feel like they have the Mana Worm, they have the Sorcerer's Apprentice, and they have Antonidas, which all combos really, really well with both this and the Mirror Image.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a good card. It's usually weak late game, but that is why you play Antonidas, just to exchange them.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess.
Cool. Well, I guess moving on to the most situational of the 4.
Lance of Ice.
Yeah. Played in the kill face thingy, spell to face deck.
Spell to the face. Yeah. It has several uses, I feel. You can use it together with Frostbolt for a 7 burst for a free mana, which is pretty strong, you can say. But you can also use it to actually just freeze a minion or a hero. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's I guess it's only really seen in burn decks. I feel.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I've seen it in some random decks, but it's not really good there. So, like, yeah, play it in if you're playing, burn, because the combo with Frostbolt double Ice Lance is really strong, and that's about it, I think.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's a lot of damage.
Well, I'm moving on to my favorite of the one drops. Actually, it's a mirror image. One of the cards that I've always really liked, but have seen some criticism.
Yeah.
Mirror image, I feel is pretty strong, especially against aggro.
It's like the thing is that you can play it in aggro as well. Like it's really good in aggro decks because you can overextend the board with minions, and then they have to basically wait 2 turns before they can attack your minions.
Because they have to deal with the taunters.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like the Shield Bearer, but it has 2 obvious benefits, which is basically it is split among 2 dudes. So you have to at least use 2 attacks if you don't use the spell. And it is a spell in itself, so it's combo really well with a lot of the spell card, like the spell
the mage
beneficial
cards.
So I think this is really cool card, and I think you need to have it in gold because it looks way more like it makes sense in gold. If you have seen the things that it spawns, the common ones doesn't make sense. Just, a quick side.
It's just a random guy who what's it called, Hiles or something? I don't know. It's like a guy who's like, yes.
The card makes like if you just start the game, don't worry. When you get the golden version, the card will make sense.
Yeah, definitely. So moving on to the one drop that makes all the other one drops amazing.
Yeah.
It's Mana Worm. So to the people that don't understand how simply amazing this card is, it has insane stats for a one drop, first of all. And second of all, it's a constant threat to the opponent, so they have to kill it as soon as you play it, because it gains 1 attack every time. Like it can trade with, it can deal so much damage alone, and it can trade with so many things that it's just insane.
I've won several games just because Mana Worm did like 15 damage or something during a game. It happens actually quite often that Mana Worm just wins you a game if they don't remove it. I've had 7 or 8 attack Mana Worms. If they don't have an out, they're fucked. So.
Some people even play Mana Worm without any other one drops.
Yeah, basically.
Just because of the stats.
It's just so good. It has 1 stat more than it should have, and it's all defensive stats. And we mentioned last time how defensive stats are better than attack stats. So. As well as a good ability that boosts the missing attack.
The low stat,
Yeah, exactly. So Mana Worm is I think an auto include, especially in the like with so many rush hunters guys going about.
Yeah. So I guess that was the mage one drops. Anyone has anything more to say about any of them?
I think that's it for the mage, right?
Yeah.
I think these are the one drops that has the most synergy between them.
Yeah.
The one drop mage cards are amazing. Really, they are really good.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, moving on to Paladin, the class with I think the most one drops.
Yeah.
Out of any class. So starting off with the best one of the bunch. Likes justice.
For justice.
I think we've mentioned it before. One attack kills nothing.
We have talked about all the Paladin one drops, right, in our deck video. I don't know if we should maybe just.
I think we actually did that. Yeah.
Put a link to that because it's actually a lot of talk, and we got through all of them last time.
Yeah.
I think you're actually right. Maybe just go quickly.
Really yeah.
We can pick the ones that we like. What about each player picks one of them, and
yeah, that's true.
And says a bit about it. So I guess I'll start, and I'll pick Blessing of Might, because I think I'm one of the only one who actually likes this card a lot, or at least Henry dislikes it. So I like it because
Henrik dislikes it.
Because you can put it on your 1/1 Argent Squire with the Mind Shield, and you are basically guaranteed to give 8 damage to the opponent, unless they have like Earth Shock or something insane to get rid of it. Which I feel
you lose.
not really. Like, of course, you maybe you won't play it like that against Shaman, but like in most cases, you can trade 2 cards for the Ardent Squire or deal 8 damage.
Yeah.
So I feel like a 4/1 with Divine Shield is just too good.
But if they keep removing your stuff on the field, you just end up sitting with that.
Yeah, but then you can use it on a charger or something. Like it's 3 damage for 1 mana, and it stays on the board.
As long as we agree that you would only use it in super aggro decks.
Yeah, of course. Like you would never use it in control. I agree with that definitely.
It's in the same boat as the Power Overwhelming and what is it, Cold Blood?
Yeah.
They serve the same purpose. You play them in the same kind of decks.
Yep.
Just if we look at, okay, maybe it's a bad example, but Bestial Wrath was shit, and it did kind of the same. It gives immunity. It has to be.
But it's to a beast. That's
I know
the
it has
difference.
to be to beast, yeah. But would you play it if it was to everything?
Yeah, I would.
Also,
I think I would actually.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
If it was just 3 damage to a minion for everything, I would play it in aggro hunter. I think like 3 damage more for 1 mana is better than Arcane Shot.
But that's because it's hunter, though.
I think
Well,
Bestial Wrath would be really good if it like
Was to
wasn't beast
anything.
only, because you could put it in all kinds of weird things like I don't know, Yeti, and then you kill I don't know, Druid of the Claw for free. But that's not
Yeah,
the
because it gives
immunity.
immunity.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But this one doesn't. So if you don't have a minion with Divine Shield, this is just, I don't know, 3 damage that you have to trade or something. I don't know. I'm just not a fan of the card. But
I don't play it in control. Just play it in damage deal.
Yeah.
Things.
I feel like it's just almost all situations. I would rather have a regular 1-drop with 2 damage or something. So I actually have something on the board.
I guess. But
Okay, I'll pick mine. I
go.
guess I'll say Redemption, because I really like the interaction it has with some of the Paladin cards. Like you can build an entire Paladin deck around it. Play Divine Shield monsters and like Loot Hoarders and stuff. Like all the Death Rattle and Divine Shield monsters, and every time they die, you just gain so much advantage off of it. It's really good. But yeah, you kind of have to dedicate your deck to it. But if you do, I feel like it has really a lot of potential.
Yeah. So you're Michael, or should I start? I don't know.
I actually want to comment on Redemption as well.
Okay.
Yeah, feel free.
Redemption is one of those cards that are kind of weird. It's kind of like Ancestral Spirit, but you cannot use it in the same way that Ancestral Spirit can. You cannot use it safely on I feel like something with a huge amount of health.
Yeah,
like
Earth Elemental.
Elemental or something. Yeah. So Redemption is a little more gimmicky. You have to use it on something that has some kind of special effect, maybe Divine Shield, maybe Charge, maybe Death Rattle of some sort.
Yeah.
I think it's very fun to play around with this card, like Loot Hoarder or something. It can swing.
Yes. So Michael, I think.
What happened?
Okay. Now he's
Welcome back.
Oh, so I lost the internet, maybe?
Yeah, you
Yes.
dropped out.
Okay. But
You can
it
continue.
all got recorded, so no problem. I was talking about how Redemption it's kind of like Ancestral Spirit, and it is a fun card, and I think it's very fun to play with something like Sylvanas or Cairn or something like that.
Yeah.
But all in all, the thing I dislike the most about this card is basically your hero power doesn't like this card.
Nope, it doesn't. Not at all.
You can never play this safely and then think, well, I have 2 extra mana, let's make a hero power. Nope. Because then they kill that 1/1 and then you waste the redemption
Really
on a
stupid.
1/1.
Yeah.
And then it's just hitting me. So yeah, the biggest problem is basically redemption works against your hero power. And I think this card would be really good in almost all other classes. In this class it's kinda okay. Interesting.
Would it be wrong to say that Redemption gets better because Noble Sacrifice is almost the only card that people play?
Yes,
Yeah,
because
I
it comes as a surprise.
Yeah,
Or
I
like
guess.
I don't know, like every time I see a Loot Hoarder or a Divine Shield monster in a Paladin deck with a trap, I think of Redemption, because like so you dedicate your deck to playing Redemption, so you will check some cards in that you would normally not play. So yeah, you can kind of have clues that they might play it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it adds to its strength that that other secret is the most played one.
Yeah. So a short notice. If your can get silenced, you can still play Redemption and Suicided, and get another can with
Yeah,
this effect. Just if people didn't know.
Cool. Well, whose turn is it?
So I guess I should say something about, I don't know, what should I pick? Oh, Eye for an Eye. I'll go for Eye for an Eye. So, Eye for an Eye is, it has some combos. The basic idea with the deck that is built around Eye for an Eye is that you have a shitty weapon, and you put the trap, and you attack into a
world's biggest monster.
Yeah, into a 2020, and then you win from there.
Yeah, you deal 20 damage to the enemy as well.
The idea here is that you make sure how much damage the opponent is going to take. So it's not there because you want your opponent to hit you, because then it will often be shitty. I don't know.
This card is bad because you also take the damage yourself.
Yeah, it is bad. It's good as a finisher, I suppose, but
it has the one combo that Hendrik told us, but like it's the only thing that it does, and in general, it's just not good.
Yeah,
it is not good.
But it has a fun combo. I guess you can build a fun deck around it.
Yeah.
Michael, I believe.
Well, I think people know why Noble Sacrifice is good, so I want to discuss Blessing of Wisdom.
I have one in gold.
Yeah, and I want to ask Blizzard directly why they changed the artwork for the gold version. Because it was way better before, and I want full refund. But when that is over with, let's talk about the card.
I think I mentioned that I like it, but I was kind of struck down because I said I liked it in early game deck, where because you would have field presence and the ability to draw multiple cards, and I was told that in an early game deck, card advantage was not really what you wanted. You wanted board control, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that was kind of where our last discussion ended, about this card not being as good as I thought it was, but I still like it.
I like it in Arena, but
yeah,
I think the funniest thing to use Blessing of Wisdom on is basically like something with charge or something with Divine Shield, where you're pretty sure it's gonna survive, and then it's 2 draws for 1 mana. That's okay, but it's not good. Because you get the cards too slow.
I actually pick it a lot in Arena.
Yeah, in Arena it's fine. Yeah.
Like in Arena, I would pick it over a lot of cards, and most of the time I would actually use it on the opponent's minions.
I really rarely do that though.
I rarely do that as well. But you can do that, and you can stop a minion from attacking multiple turns.
Yeah, but I just really dislike not having control of. Like you give away the control of when the minion attacks. You leave the choice to the opponent.
Yeah.
And
you cannot really expect more from a 1 mana card.
No.
But very quickly, the reason we actually like this in Arena is because in Arena, card advantage matters a lot more than it does in normal play.
Yeah.
So
I think that's pretty much it for the panel.
We basically didn't mention the other cards because we discussed it last week, so you can go. No, not last week. When did we make the deck?
Discussed it
a few weeks ago. I think 2 weeks ago.
I think 2 weeks ago. I think you can go back. If I'm wrong, I'm gonna throw an annotation on the screen. If I'm right, I'm not gonna do that. But go back 2 weeks and then watch our we build a
Deck
aggro
building.
paladin
True.
deck,
Yeah, true. That's
and where we go through all of these cards. So that is basically the reason why we don't do it now.
Yep.
And
Okay. Priest.
Well, how far are we into the recording?
we are 1 hour and 50.
Yeah, so I think we'll just think that there was a lot of more of what class-specific one-drops that we expected. So I think we're gonna cut it short and finish with the one-drops next time, because
I think we should take the priests now, actually.
Can we do the priest and then we finish? Is that okay with you?
Then we are more than
Sure.
halfway. Then we have more
Yeah.
time
Okay.
next time.
Nice.
There's not many priest cards.
First off,
well, there's 7.
Yeah. No. What? Oh,
There's
there's 0
7.
mana as well. Yeah.
yeah.
Let's go now.
Let's get started.
Well, a Circle of Healing, I guess, first card.
Circular Feeling, great with Organized Soul Priest for 4 damage.
Yes.
Great turn 2 with Injured Blade Master. Great if there's a bunch of injured minions on the field and you have an off-share cleric on the field.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great in many situations. Free.
Basically, it sets up a whole bunch of really cool advantage-gaining combos, but it's a combo card, so in some sense it can be like
It can
you
be
will
dead
often
in your
have it
hand.
in your hand, and it will be bad, but then suddenly you draw the combo card and it's really good. So sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but you kind of have to build a deck where it fits in if you want to
Yeah.
play it, basically.
Very situational, but it has a lot of power.
Yeah, I like if you play Wild Pyromancer, I like it because Wild Pyromancer will often leave a lot of cards at 1 health or at -1 health, and you will just play Cleric next to it, and you can draw for every single. That's a cool combo, I feel.
Yes.
Cool. Moving on to Silence.
Silence
No.
is... I think it's pretty good, actually. Just no.
Nope.
No. I think Silence is pretty good in the control matchup. I've seen
No.
a lot of better players play Silence, actually. Reynard's one of them.
The thing is that Silence, I think in Priest, Silence is better than the Owl in Priest, because you don't really need the 2/1 main for anything. So it's kind of like whatever. And Silence is a 0 mana card, so
It's
that makes it really great for tempo, which can be insanely important in this game. So for Priest specifically, I kind of like Silence over the RNG Owl, which is, I think, a fair comparison. But in many other decks, I would choose the Owl if given the option of Silence, I think.
But you wouldn't play Owl anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
It might be
Well, I
better
don't
than
know.
Owl, but you wouldn't play Owl.
I think Silence
I think
can
this
be
Silence
good.
it can definitely be good in a lot of situations. Imagine you're playing against Rush and you have a North cleric on the field. Then they have a Lebanon, for example. Then you silence that and you can still attack
And
it
you
with an
wasted
offshot.
1 card.
Then you can heal it and you can do that.
I think
You have anything
No,
else
you
then-
just wasted a card. You just wasted Silence for 2 damage. Like, no way it's good.
I think the problem for me is that Silence in itself is not worth a card. Not worth an entire card in your hand to spend just to Silence.
If you play Gadget Sun, it's pretty sick.
Yes, if you play
Yeah.
Gadget Sun.
And it's like it's unlike let's say Earthshock, which is a really good card. It deals 1 damage as well on 1 card. It costs 1 mana more, but that from 0 to 1 mana, there's usually no difference really in the cost. Very rarely that you have the situation where 0 mana, whoa, that's amazing compared to a 1 mana card.
Yeah.
Except for Circle of Healing, because it is a combo card, so you want to use it on turn 3 on Blade Master or on turn 4 with the other.
Yeah,
use.
option I.
And the effects of Circle of Healing are more like
Yeah.
game determining
Impactful.
in some way. Yeah.
Yeah, they are way more impactful.
A silence is a silence.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
this is okay if you build
But
the
I
deck
think-
around using.
I think taking 1 silence or something is not necessarily bad.
No, it's
Depends
not
on what.
necessarily. It's okay.
Can I say why this is... please let me say that it is bad.
You can
You
say
can,
it's
in
bad.
theory, say that it can be good in a late game priest deck, but it is completely useless against anything that has a label called Rush. You can't use it for anything.
Exactly.
It's
Thing,
just a dead card. Yeah.
Beasts have a lot of problems with consistency already, and they don't need more inconsistency.
Thanks. Holy Smite.
Holy Smite.
It's an arcane shot.
It's Arcane
It's-
Shot.
Yeah, it's good.
So
It's something to do. In turn
Same.
1 and 2.
Same concept. You can remove most 2-drops with it, and you can deal
I like
damage
it.
if you have a villain.
I like it in Priest because it's simply just something that removes shit in the early game, and you kind of need that.
Yeah, it's good.
Because you
And
have
you can
nothing,
also deal damage to the face if by some reason you need it.
Yeah.
if by some reason Velen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it combos really well with Wild Pyromancer. I'm gonna say Wild Pyromancer a lot because I play this deck.
But I think that's also it about this card, right? I don't know.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's
just
I
two
think it's
damage to for
I
one
think
mana.
it's
Good.
slightly better than what was it? Arcane Shot.
Yeah.
I think it fits slightly better into the deck.
But both the hero abilities of Priest and Hunter are in general bad, so
Yeah, that's why they need this card.
yeah. So Inner Fire.
Inner
next
Fire?
one up.
Yeah,
Inner
in a
Fire
fire.
fits in an Inner Fire deck. You basically have to base your deck around it, I feel. So you'll play the
Nat Pagle.
and Light Wells. I think they also play Light Wells, right?
Yeah,
and
true.
then Divine Spirit.
It's one of those cards where it's so amazing to try this. Like when you start the game out, it's like, wow, wombo combos. But
And
when
it's so
all-
fun. It's also so
loses
bad.
too inconsistently.
yeah, it's way too situational, and then your opponent drops the silence, and it's like, are you kidding
Yeah,
me?
exactly.
Please
You can
don't.
sit there with your, 40 damage Wisera or something like that, and then Iron Beagle, okay. The little bird just owned the Dragon Knight. So I don't know.
The Dragon Knight.
It's,
Exactly.
it's very good when it works, but unfortunately, I don't feel like it works that well in the long run.
Yeah. It's
Percentage-wise.
it's not bad. It has potential, but it's a little too situational.
So, Mind Vision.
Mind Vision.
The card with the cow.
Is it
It's
a
just
cow?
bad.
No, it's not just bad.
It's not
Because
just bad.
it's a 1-for-1, and it combos with Wild Pyromancer.
And you can use it, and then you're like, oh, deadly poison for me. Oh, yes.
Yeah, I think
I don't know. Like,
this is
don't hate too much on this.
I think the problem here is that it's a 1-for-1. No, not even a 1-for-1. It's just one
It's
mana
a
and you get a
1-for-1.
new card.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, 1-for-1. I don't know. But if
I
you
don't know.
compare it
The
to
theoretical worst situation is that you get Deadly Poison, and the theoretical best situation is that you get Frothing Berserker. And if you get Frothing, you just happy.
Is that
Like-
the best situation?
Like,
yeah, if you get a Frothing Berserker, yeah, for sure.
yeah, like that's exactly the point. Like other classes have cards that are really strong, and if you get those, you're just it's the same as with Thought
I
Steal.
think if you're a new player and you look at the priest cards, you look at Mind Vision and think that's pretty good. You play this and you get something else, and you might compare it to the Thought Steal, but there's a huge difference. Like Thought Steal gives you 2 cards instead of 1. I know it's free mana, but it actually gives you another card. Whereas Mind Vision is just exchange the card. It
I
works
agree with
Wild Pyromancer.
I agree with Henrik. Basically,
fair enough.
you wouldn't play a 1 mana card in Mage that let you draw 1 card. It's just that would suck.
Yeah.
And it's the same here. You can play cards that give you advantage like Thought Steal, but Mind Vision have the potential to give you bad cards, and it's like Flare, but there's no good situation where hey, I killed a trap or secret. There's no that doesn't happen. It's just
Fair enough. You win.
nothing
I
happening
get
with Mind
peace.
Vision.
That's okay.
So
Next up, let's go.
Next up is Powered Shield, possibly the
insane.
best card. of the
I'm
list.
more tempted to say this
Sick.
is the best card in the game.
Now compare that to Mind Vision, for example. It's the same,
I will
except
admit this
gives
is
+2.
This is slightly better. I will admit that slightly.
Slightly.
I like it a lot.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. This is just insane. Like it's a 1-for-1, and it buff your turn 1 cleric to 5 health, and you have an impenetrable. Like there's nothing that deals with 5 health until like turn 4 or 5 or something. It's insane.
And even in the late game, like you can put
Yeah,
this on a Yeti, and then all of a sudden your Yeti doesn't die. So your Yeti just got double value because now he doesn't die, so he will hit 1 more time.
Yeah, and you can heal them up all the way.
Exactly.
It's insane.
And the card
Yeah,
replaces
in
this.
the very late game, you get an effect in the same turn that you also get to draw another card that you can play, which is amazing.
Yeah, it's really good. Really good throughout the entire game.
This card played.
It's so good.
played. Just played.
Is mucho good, yeah.
Yeah.
Really
And
good. Yeah.
the Northshire Cleric, I think we can agree, is also pretty sick. It's like the Mana Worm in the stats, and it also has a nice effect. It has really good stats for 1-drop, and the effect is sick. So.
Mana Worm has 6 stats and has perfect combo with the mage early gameplay.
And the same with
Northshire Cleric has amazing stat and has perfect synergy with the priest entire game play.
You really want to start with these on your hand every time. Always mulligan for these girls here.
Yeah.
Because they are just sick.
Yeah, they're just sick.
Is it a girl or is it a guy?
I'm pretty sure it's a girl.
I assume.
I'm pretty sure it's a guy.
God.
100% it's a girl.
Please be a girl.
It is a girl, I assure you.
It's in
Look
a
at
dress,
those hips right there.
and it has long hair.
It's
And,
a girl.
It has like red cheeks or something. Yeah.
It is a girl. It better be.
I could. I can actually see the argument for it being a guy. The
I see it
artwork
as
is
well.
not too good at defining her facial features.
Come the fuck on. Of course it's a girl, guys.
But yeah, I would agree. Most of the cards would indicate. that
Okay,
it's-
come with the fuck. She talks when you play her, right?
Oh yeah, true. I cannot deny that argument.
True.
Yeah,
That's true.
Fine.
But the artwork,
No,
seems-
yeah.
I've always thought that it looked like a guy in the artwork.
I never thought about that until you said it now.
I'll save that for another time.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh.
rest in peace, Chris. It's a girl.
Yeah, it is
Rest in
nice.
Okay, well, I think that's it for this time for the card destruction.
Discussion? Yeah, that is correct.
Yes.
So
So
we'll cut it short because it took a little while longer.
yeah, there was we didn't expect there to be like I think there was
Brazilian.
60 cards or something
Yeah.
to talk about. So that would take too long. And we're actually looking for trying to shorten our podcasts in general. And we want to hold it between like 1 hour to maximum an hour and a half. And it's just to, I guess, get through things faster and make it more streamlined. So yeah, that's part of the reason why we're gonna cut it a bit short here.
Yeah.
And I hope you have some feedback on this week's episode, like the length especially, as well as if you tried to jump around in it if you didn't do that before, like we mentioned in the introduction.
Yeah.
And yeah, generally keep giving feedback. It's awesome to always hear a bit about how you think we're doing. And
I think specifically for this deck section, if we want to know if people want to hear this, if you find it interesting, because it's very time consuming in the podcast, and if you feel like it's not worth it, then please say it.
But please say as well if you enjoy it a lot, because
Yeah, we
I
enjoy
feel
doing
like-
it for sure. I feel
Yeah.
like we even get some points out that we didn't know when we discuss
Yeah.
these cards sometimes, which is really interesting. Anything
Yeah.
else?
yeah, anyone else got anything to say before we close this out?
Nothing except I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you want it longer, please say so in the comments. If you think, well, 1 hour is just right, then say that as well in the comment. We are constantly
Trying to improve. Yeah.
For your guys' sakes. So.
Cool. Well, anyway, thanks for this time, guys. And as always, cheers.
Cheers.
Adios.